Today we'll be talking about fibroid. Fibroid is a popular topic among women and even men because we have wives, we have sisters, younger and older ones at home. And you know, this is a very interesting topic that a lot of people always try to avoid. The truth is, all women have fibroid in their system. What will trigger it to grow is what we are praying against. Until this moment, people are yet to even find out the real cause of fibroid. But the truth is, a lot of people have been saying that there are some causes, there are some things that when you make mention of them, they can cause fibroid. So in this case, we will be talking extensively on what fibroid is, how you can actually locate them, and how you can prevent them, what they can cause to your body. Talking about fibroid, this is some uterine veni, which are like tumor that you find in the uterus. When you have the female uterus, this is the uterus where you have a baby. Instead of having a baby here, you now find fibroid all over. So when you have fibroid in the uterus, it is not possible for you to get pregnant. In some cases, some people still manage to get pregnant, and when they do, it is possible for the baby as it grows to shrink the fibroid, or in some cases, the fibroid could even cause miscarriage. So it is a quest for survival. It will now be survival of the fittest between the fibroid and the baby fetus. To avoid that, let us talk about causes of fibroid. I'll tell you that most sickness these days, they are genetics. If you know about genetics of heredity, what a parent has might be passed down to the offspring. Example of sickness like that are diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiovascular issues, tumor, and fibroid. They are sicknesses that your parents can pass down to you. So we always advise that anytime you want to do screening, screen yourself very well on some health issues that you think your parents can pass across to you. Causes, number one is genetics. I just explained genetics. In biology, there is what we call genetics of heredity or variation. Then environment can also cause it. Your environment, what you have exposed yourself to, can also cause fibroid. Another thing is hormonal issue or hormonal disorder. When your hormones are not working very well or there are issues, you can actually have fibroid. So on this issue of hormone, we advise people, most especially younger ladies, that please, if you know you cannot engage in protective sexual intercourse with your partner, please just stay abstained. Abstain from sex totally, because the more you use post pills, the more danger you give to your hormones, and the more danger you give to your hormones, the more chances you are likely to have fibroid. And also, if you are not seeing your menstrual cycle, if you have PID, pelvic inflammatory disease, you can also be at the risk of having fibroid at a later time in life. And apart from that, if you have some kind of terrible infections and you left them untreated, you can also develop fibroid. So what are the symptoms of fibroid? Let me tell you, before I talk about the symptoms, it is also quite good to note that you can actually remain asymptomatic where you have no symptoms at all. If you have fibroid, you have no symptoms. In fact, there will not be bleeding. If you have fibroid, one of the symptoms is that the person will be bleeding. Even when the person is not having a period, she will be bleeding. And when the period comes, she would even bleed more. For example, if she has 5 days menstrual cycle, did you know that these 5 days can turn to 7, can turn to 8, can turn to 9, and even turn to 12 days. So such kind of person will keep losing blood. And when you lose excess blood, what happens? You start losing weight. So the person will get very lean and thin, like me, like this, or even thinner than me. Another thing is abdominal pains. You know, when you have fibroid, it will be disturbing your abdomen, your uterus, and you keep having abdominal pain, which is actually not very good and comforting to anyone who has fibroid. Another thing is frequent urination. So when people mention the issue of frequent urination, don't say because you are urinating frequently, that means you have fibroid. No, there are a lot of things that can make you to urinate frequently. One of it is weather. If you are in the rainy season, you tend to urinate more. If you are in the rainy season, you tend to urinate more than in dry season, because in rainy season you sweat less. If you sit more in AC from morning till night, you tend to urinate more because you find a way of passing out water in your system. If you take a lot of water, you also tend to urinate more. So if you have infection too, you also tend to urinate more. If you are diabetic, you tend to urinate more. So frequent urination alone is not enough to say that somebody is a fibroid patient. So I just told you what other thing can make you urinate more. Another thing is constipation. You get constipated sometimes or often when you have fibroid. So I've mentioned loss of weight. What are the things to avoid if you don't want to have fibroid, or if you already have fibroid? Please try as much as possible to avoid smoking as a woman. Also avoid refined carbohydrates. Avoid sugar. Sugar is good. It's detrimental to our health. And also avoid foods that contain excess oil, and avoid processed food. Avoid fatty food too. All these things, when you avoid them, you are not only helping your body, but you are also helping your life to live a better life and stay longer on earth. So what are the things fibroid can cause? Number one is it can lead to miscarriage. You know, when you get pregnant and if the myomas in the uterus. It is called myomas, or it can also be called uterine fibroid. The myomas can actually affect the fetus from developing, which can lead to miscarriage. And aside from that, it can also lead to temporary infertility, where at one point in time where that person is carrying the fibroid, the person will not be able to get pregnant. And aside from that, what food do you think somebody who has fibroid can eat to help accelerate the healing process? So such a person can take a lot of lean protein and anti-inflammatory foods. If you take a lot of lean protein, anti-inflammatory food, take more of garlic too, it will help. Also, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cabbage, kale, and the likes would also help you in ameliorating the hardship of fibroid. And also another thing is flaxseed is very important because it contains omega-3 fatty acid, which can also help you in the treatment process. These are food that you can take, and they will also give you help. Let me tell you the truth. When you run away from herbs and go for surgical operation for fibroid, I will tell you from our findings, people get it regrowth after 4 to 5 years. They will keep coming back that, oh, this thing has come back again. So we advise people, if you don't trust herb 100%, after your surgery, you can use herbs. When you use those herbs, it will kill totally the fibroid. It's just like you have a tree in your compound, and the tree, they help you to cut the tree without removing the roots. What happens after a few years, it starts coming up again and it will become a full-blown tree again. But when you cut off the tree, what do? Locally, you put salt on the tree. By that, it will kill the root and everything, and that will be the end. So there are some herbs you can use if you have fibroid. So if you want to treat the fibroid, these are the things that you need to look for. You will look for ewe taba die, and kataba, oluiju, oro adete, oro agogo, enu opiri, epo osan. This epo osan is not just any osan, it's osan ijagoyin and osan wewe. They are in my local language, so I'm actually doing it in my local language because Yoruba is very important to me. So if you need to learn this, you need to learn Yoruba. It is important. You look for grape, the local one. You look for omi agbon, osan ijagoyin, and osan wewe. So when you get all these things, you look for a big bowl, pour everything inside, and look for original palm wine. You soak it with original palm wine. Leave it for 3 days or 4 days, and you start taking 100 ml in the morning and 100 ml please after food, because these are very powerful herbs. So when you take 100 ml in the morning before after food, 100 ml after food at night, take it like that. There are chances of 2 things happening. In the next 18 to 21 days of taking it, you see your period. When the period comes, it will not just be normal flow. It will be very heavy, and you see something like liver, dirty blood coming out. It is the fibroid being cut into pieces by the herbs. Take it like that for the next 19 days. That means 2 menstrual cycles like that. Immediately you start seeing the blood. Continue taking it for another 19 days. That is 2 menstrual cycles. So you will see it twice like that. After the second menstrual cycle, the fibroid should have stopped. Then you will now look for a way queen to stop the blood, because the blood will not stop. It is called sandpaper leaf. So this ewe queen, you will now squeeze it or blend it with little salt and take it 3 times daily, 100 ml. Then the blood will stop. That is the end of the fibroid. If you have done surgery, you can also take this. It would help. But if you have not done surgery, you can also take this. Please tell us where you are watching from in the comment section. And if you want more video like this, kindly share this one, because the more you share, the more you help people who don't belong to our page. Kindly follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at ASIWAJU ELEGBOOGI.